Have you ever wondered what your pet does when it runs away from home? Picture this: a loving, close-knit family living in the heart of a small town. Their joy is complete with their cherished dog, a loyal companion always eager to share in their laughter and comfort them in times of sorrow. But one ordinary day, as the sun rose and painted the sky with hues of orange and gold, something unusual happened. Their beloved pet, their source of unending happiness, unexpectedly bolted out the door into the unknown. The family was left in a state of shock and devastation, their hearts heavy with worry and confusion. They searched high and low, day and night, their pleas echoing through the silent streets. Yet their furry friend was nowhere to be found. A question lingered in the air, a mystery that haunted their every waking moment. What could have possibly driven their beloved pet to leave their warm home? Imagine a year filled with longing and unanswered questions. A year of countless sleepless nights, filled with the echoing silence of a missing heartbeat. That was the year for the Johnson family. Their beloved canine companion had disappeared, leaving behind nothing but a worn-out collar and a void that was impossible to fill. The once lively home was now a place of painful memories and unspoken sadness. The children's laughter, once a common melody, was now a rare occurrence, often replaced by the melancholic hum of longing. Their playful romps in the backyard were now a thing of the past, replaced by fruitless searches in the neighborhood. The family didn't give up easily. They put up posters, visited shelters, and scoured every nook and cranny of the town. They even hired a pet detective, hoping against hope that they would find their furry friend. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the hope began to fade. The world seemed to move on, but for the Johnsons, time stood still. The dog's absence was felt in every corner of the house. His favorite spot by the fireplace was empty, his food bowl untouched. His toys lay scattered, gathering dust. The family dog wasn't just a pet. He was a confidant, a playmate, a source of unconditional love and joy. His departure left a void in the family's heart, a silence that was deafening. As the seasons changed, so did the dynamics of the family. They found themselves growing closer, bonding over the shared pain of their loss. They found solace in each other, but the void left by their dog was never filled. They learned to live with the pain, the longing, the unanswered questions. They learned to live with the silence. And just when they thought they had accepted the reality, something unexpected happened. Have you ever experienced a moment of joy that quickly turns eerie? Imagine the family's elation when, after a year of absence, their beloved dog suddenly reappeared. Laughter and joy filled the air as they welcomed their long-lost companion back into their home. The dog, once lost but now found, was back. But as the initial wave of happiness subsided, a sense of unease began to creep in. The dog they knew, the one they had spent countless hours playing fetch with, seemed different. His playful eyes held a disturbing glint that wasn't there before. His once cheerful bark now echoed with a strange, haunting undertone. The familiar wag of his tail felt more like a warning than a sign of affection. The family tried to brush off these unsettling changes, attributing them to the stress of the dog's long journey home. But deep down, they knew something was off. But it wasn't the same lovable dog that had left them a year ago. Ever noticed how sometimes the smallest changes can be the most unsettling? That's how it began with our four-legged friend. His once vibrant eyes, full of love and loyalty, now held an eerie, distant glaze. The once lustrous coat turned dull and matted, as if it hadn't seen a grooming brush in ages. But it wasn't just his looks. It was his demeanor that really sent chills down the spine. The dog, once the heart and soul of every family gathering, now preferred solitude. He would spend hours on end in the darkest corners of the house, an area he previously avoided. His once playful barks were replaced by a low, guttural growl that seemed to echo from deep within. And then there were the incidents. Random objects around the house began to mysteriously move or shatter, always when the dog was nearby. The children's toys would end up in places they hadn't been left, and the family would often wake up to find the kitchenware scattered all over the floor. One night, the youngest child woke up screaming, claiming to have seen the dog standing on his hind legs, casting an ominous shadow on the wall. The parents dismissed it as a child's nightmare, but the fear in their eyes told a different story. The family's once joyful pet now seemed to carry an aura of dread. His presence was no longer comforting. Instead, it was a constant reminder of something they couldn't quite put their finger on. A once beloved family member was now treated with caution and, dare we say it, fear. Each mealtime was a tense affair, with the dog refusing to eat anything but raw meat, and his once wagging tail was now eerily still, as if he had forgotten how to express joy. The family tried to dismiss these changes as side effects of his time away from home, but deep down, they knew something was terribly amiss. Each day, the family was becoming more and more convinced that something was horribly wrong. What do you do when the source of your fear is something you once loved? It's a question that gnawed at the family's heart in the dead of the night, as the eerie glow in their dog's eyes seemed to pierce the darkness, a stark contrast to the warm, loving gaze it once held. The family was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. They were torn between the love they had for their pet, a love that had not waned despite the year of absence, and the creeping fear that was beginning to take root in their hearts. The once joyful home was now pervaded with a sense of dread that was as palpable as the cold winter air. The laughter that once echoed in the halls was replaced with hushed whispers, speculation about what could have possibly happened to their beloved pet. They tried to understand, to make sense of it all. The father, a man of science, started researching about behavioral changes in dogs. The mother, a woman of faith, turned to her spiritual books, searching for answers in old scriptures. The children, however, were left grappling with a fear they couldn't fully comprehend. They clung onto their stuffed animals a bit tighter at night, their dreams invaded by the haunting image of their pet's transformed eyes. In their quest for answers, they consulted veterinarians, animal behaviorists, even a medium. But every avenue they explored only led to more questions, more fear. The dog they once knew was gone, replaced by a creature that seemed to hold an ominous secret. The family's attempts to reclaim the normalcy of their life became a daily struggle. Every bark, every growl from their dog sent chills down their spine, a constant reminder of the disturbing change. The family dog, once a symbol of their unity and joy, had now become an embodiment of their growing fear. As the days turned into weeks, their home no longer felt safe. What would you do if you discovered a horrifying truth about your beloved pet? That's the chilling question the Smith family had to face. Their beloved dog, Max, who had returned after a year's absence, had changed. He was no longer the playful, loving pet they remembered. Instead, he had become something else, something demonic. The Smiths first noticed the unsettling changes in Max's behavior. The once friendly dog now growled menacingly at strangers, and even at the family members he used to lick and wag his tail for. His eyes, once full of warmth and affection, now glowed with a strange, otherworldly light. And then, there were the inexplicable events happening around the house. Objects moving on their own, eerie whispers in the night, and an ever-present sense of dread. The family, desperate and scared, sought help. They turned to a local priest, a man well-versed in the supernatural. What he revealed made their blood run cold. Max was possessed by a demon, he said, a malevolent entity that had taken over their beloved pet. The news was a shock, but the Smiths refused to give up on Max. They loved him, demon or not, and they were determined to save him. And so, they embarked on a harrowing journey, confronting their deepest fears and risking their own lives in a desperate attempt to free Max from the demon's grip. They stood together, their love for each other and their pet stronger than the terror that gripped them. They faced the demon, armed with their faith and their unwavering determination. It was a grueling battle, a test of their courage and their love. But in the end, their love prevailed. The demon was banished and Max was freed. In the face of terror, they found strength in their love for each other and their pet, proving that sometimes love can conquer even the darkest fears. Y'all, we're wrapping up here, but don't you go anywhere just yet. Show some love, hit that like button. Fancy more content like this? Go on, subscribe and let that bell icon ring so you won't miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, sharing is caring. Until next time, stay tuned.